Hello, my name is Thangata. I'm an actor. I'm going to cover a few things about acting, especially with my approach to acting. I'm hoping some of you can get some useful information out of and be able to apply it in your own approach to acting. All right? So, first off, what is acting? My understanding of acting is that acting is the interpretation of life. It is the artistic approach to life, to thinking, feeling, and doing. That is what everyday life is. It's psychological approach to life, the emotional approach to life, and the physical aspect of it. That is acting. In the same way that music is the art form of sound and dance is the art form of movement. The three components of acting: the intellectual, the emotional, and the focus, the doing. Intellectual is the analysis, the narrative, the breakdown of the scene, the lines, the emotion. You consider what the character is going through emotionally, what they're feeling, according to their surrounding, the situation, how they're affected. And the focus is the drive, the call to action, the reason why they do what they decide to do, or what they did, or what they're about to do. So those are really the three main aspects of a character when interpreting a character, what that I like to observe and study. And so if you look at that anatomy, the aspect of acting, I think, I feel, I do, and therefore I am. To be, or not to be, that is the question. That is life, and it's also acting. Two misconceptions that I think anybody deciding to do acting that they come across or that they constantly face and ask themselves. It's one, I can't act, and two, I can't do that role or I can't play that character. I can only do certain characters. That is a misconception because all of that derive from fear. Fear is a natural part of the process. It's part of the process to be able to act. Why do people feel like they can act or they cannot approach certain characters, certain roles? It's because of fear. It's because there is a disconnect between the actor or the person approaching the character. There's a disconnect between themselves emotionally and the character. So they cannot quite fathom the emotional process of this character, or they fear being vulnerable to who they are, allowing the process of sympathizing, of empathizing with another character. So there's a gap between yourself and the character. And that gap can be because of no preparation, you haven't prepared enough, which is what acting is all about. You do 99% of the work before you come to set. You do 99% of the work before you come to class. You do the homework, you do 99% of the work before you go to the audition. All right. If you haven't prepared enough, if you haven't done the 99%, you're gonna walk into the audition, into that class, on the stage, on that set, with fear, because you know there's a disconnect between you and the character somewhere, somehow. Whether it's the lines, you don't know the lines, or you haven't fully connected emotionally with the character, and therefore you don't know the direction in which the character is supposed to go in this particular scene. Why he's saying these things that he's saying. What is his goal? What is his purpose? How does it feel? What is his connection in relation to other characters in that scene, or just to the situations surrounding him. In each and every profession, there are tools and measures and ways that they train people to overcome that fear, because fear is natural. All right. In acting, we also have tools that allows the actor to overcome fear. We have tools that allows the actor to think, to put themselves in a place where they are thinking like the character, where they're feeling like the character, and where they will be able to give themselves the permission to do like the character. And in acting, we call these the 5 W's. You have the who, the what, the where, the why, and the when. All right. These are the 5 W's that you apply to your approach to a scene. Once you jot down these things and think about where this scene is taking place, why the character is involved in the situation, why the things that are happening in that situation. When the time is a day or night, like historically accurate, you think about the historical aspect of it. In which period of time is this occurring? Is it current? Is it in the future? Is it in the past? Once you go over all those 5 W's, those are some of the skills, some of the tools that you have in acting that allow you to bridge the gap, to bridge that disconnect between you and the scene, between you and the analysis of the scene, the narrative, between you and the character emotionally, between you and the drive, and the focus, and the charisma, and the traits, and the reason why the character does what it wants to do. Now that you've done the 99% of the work, the homework, you come to the other side of fear, right? You've done the process. So you've gone through fear, you've gone through insecurity, and then you are vulnerable. And once you're vulnerable, you sympathize. After you sympathize, you empathize. Once you reach that stage where you're able to share empathy between you and the character, then you're acting. Because emotionally, you are connected to the character. You have bridged that gap. You are on the other side of fear. You now empathize. You took yourself out of the equation. You removed your own fear, your own emotions, your own pre-thoughts, and you're able to grasp what it is that this character is going through, is feeling at this point in time. And since acting is the artistic approach to life, once you can empathize with the character, with the real person, you're acting, you are artistically portraying someone else's emotions, someone else's feelings, someone else's drive to be alive, to live, to want to be big. You're able to sympathize with that, and you can portray that. That is the underlying emotion, that is the underlying drive, the underlying desire. All right, so that is pretty much it. It's that simple, really. Anything on top of that would just be learning the different tools that allow you to portray the characters in a different light, to connect with them on a different level, to add variety, shall we say. There's so many different tools out there that you can use as an actor that will help you to bridge that gap between yourself and the character that you're portraying, to remove that fear, to surrender to the role, to be, to do, to feel, think, to grasp, to let go, to be or not